or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. It is time for our Top Question Tuesday. Thanks so much for joining us today. Today, we're going to be talking about what to look for in a good doctor. So, lots of good information there. But before we begin, for those of you who don't know who we are, I'm Jessica Melnick. I am the founder of the Anti-Arthritis Method, the host of the Happy Joints Arthritis Solutions Group. I am a registered holistic nutritionist, and I specialize at helping people with all forms of arthritis. And Casey, I'll hand it over to you.
Perfect. I need to see if we're going live in our groups, though, just because it doesn't show anything here. 2 seconds. I'll introduce and then I'll do this. But say that again. There we go.
Oh, is that you mentioned that our streaming service seemed a little off today?
It is, yeah. So I just want to double check, but I'll introduce and then you can go and I'll do this in the background. But I am Casey Kephards. I am the founder of Nutrition with Casey. I think we're going live now, actually. I just got a notification. I host the Facebook group Women why can't I think of my group name? Oh my God, brain fog.
You're doing two things at once. That's why.
Nutrition for women with autoimmune disease. Gosh, I am sorry. I live in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I'm a functional medicine nutritionist. Take it away, Jessica.
Awesome. Thanks, Casey. Thanks for looking at that for us. So today we're going to talk about what to look for in a good doctor. So if you're running into issues with your arthritis or your autoimmune condition, what are some of the things that you can look for? Maybe getting a second opinion from a different doctor, or even just try a whole different type of doctor. So first off, we're going to talk about the conventional medical doctors. I can't talk today. We're going to talk about conventional medical doctors versus functional medicine doctors.
Mm-hmm.
So what the heck does that mean? Well, most of us are familiar with our conventional medical doctors, our general practitioners that we've been going to since we were young. And we usually go in for our, yearly checkup, or, on the odd occasion we're not feeling very good, or, when things get really bad and we start developing our arthritis or autoimmune conditions. That's usually the first person that we go to for help. And so typically the appointment's, about 15 minutes long. They do some basic lab tests, usually take insurance. Like in the US and Canada, we can see a general practitioner doctor. It's part of our universal health care. And what they typically do is they attach a symptom to a diagnosis and then prescribe a pill to deal with those symptoms that are associated with that diagnosis as well. And on the other hand, if we look at a functional medicine doctor, they're becoming more and more available and prevalent nowadays. I don't know, Casey, you would know a little bit more about the history of functional medicine doctors, like how long has this profession been around, that sort of thing. Do you mind if I give you over to you for a second, just to give us an idea of what a functional medicine doctor does?
Yeah. So I don't know the exact year, but it's definitely, it's more towards the 100-year mark than anything. And especially since our economy and our food systems and the pharmaceutical companies grow, functional doctors have become more prevalent just because we're trying to get back to that, I don't want to say mammalian, but like paleoethic times of eating, and that we use food and herbs and plants as medicine, as a way of fueling and healing our body, not anything that is made in a lab. So in just layman's terms, a functional medicine doctor will spend a lot more than 15 minutes with you. They do about 60 minutes, maybe even longer for that initial appointment of going through your background, going through your family history in depth, not just your doctor looking over the checklist of what you've written down. They'll go over your nutrition. What are you eating specifically? And then they'll go over your lifestyle. What's your stress look like? What do you have a family? Do you work? Do you have 3 jobs? Are you in school? They'll sometimes go over spirituality. Are you religious? Are you do you have a higher power? Do you meditate? Do you do yoga? Things like that. Um, and they then will give you labs that are more specific than your regular conventional doctor will do. Things like a full thyroid panel, which is more extensive than just what your regular doctor will do, which will uncover more. They'll do stool tests, they'll do DNA, they'll do genes, they'll do. Um, I know I'm missing so many right now, and I
Heavy
can't.
metal testing, is that in there too, possibly,
Yep.
if you need?
Heavy metal toxicity, toxins in general. So more than just the CBC, the red blood cells, the white blood cells that your regular conventional medicine doctor will do. On top of that, usually, at least in the US, they rarely take insurance, unfortunately, just because our medical system does not approve of them quite yet, but I hope that will change. In the US and in the Canada, I know Jessica said that insurance does take for some of them.
Yes,
Um,
because I think the main thing to know too is that they still are a medical doctor. So they have the conventional medical training, but then they have gone on to take more training in functional medicine. So I think it's usually a couple of years of extra training, is my understanding, at least here in Canada.
yeah,
And so, like, I know I have a functional medicine doctor I can see in my city, and my sessions with him are covered by insurance
mhm,
because he is a doctor as well. So there's also the functional medical practitioners, but that's something different. So
yeah,
I guess, like, Casey, would you consider yourself a functional medicine practitioner? So
yes,
you're not a
exactly.
doctor, but you were a practitioner of functional medicine.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And one thing I wanted to state with what you just said, Jessica, it's the same thing here in the US with additional training and things like that, but insurance doesn't cover it because it's more than 15 minutes. And they don't cover the labs because they're extra and not needed apparently. Um,
Mhm.
and nutrition is often not covered by insurance, so it's hard to tack ICD codes or IC9 codes, whatever they are, um, to treat. So, and then insurance doesn't pay out a lot either. So there's a lot of issues with insurance here with functional medicine doctors. But the schooling is also different between functional medicine and conventional too, like we just stated. So
Mhm.
the reason they're doing all of this in functional medicine is to try to find the root cause of why you're feeling the way that you are. It's not just because you have a deficiency in Lexapro or antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds, or a cholesterol pill. Something is causing that, and that's what a functional medicine doctor does. It tries to find the root cause between your diet, your lifestyle, um, basically your diet and lifestyle and biochemistry in your body,
Yeah.
and then they work with you from there on out to work on getting you the nutrients that you need for your deficiencies and having a healthier lifestyle and resting if you need to and stress. And it's
Mhm.
just so much more than just going to the doctor and be like, oh, you have some anxiety, here's a pill, come back in 6 months and let me know how you feel.
Yes, like it's so much more than trying to just address the symptoms
Yeah.
and putting a band-aid on the symptoms with certain medications that don't actually fix the root cause or the actual problem and what the problem is. Because
Mhm.
the problem is not the symptoms. Of course, we don't want the symptoms, but there's a reason we're having those symptoms. And functional medicine actually looks to fix why we're having those symptoms in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. If you didn't watch our live, I don't know, a couple months ago now, it's called the white coat syndrome. Go back and find that in our Facebook group, but it's also on YouTube. And that explains a lot about who the conventional medicine doctor is and why they may not be fit to help with our autoimmune diseases for the long term. Um, and What else is on this list that we have? Oh, so basically, everything that we've been saying that the conventional medicine practitioner or doctor does is it puts a band-aid on what we're feeling. So let's say you have joint pain. They're going to give you a medication for an anti-inflammatory, maybe. Or let's say you have psoriasis. They're going to give you a cream for the psoriasis. Well, this medication may help. Yes, it's putting the band-aid on it. It's helping for these symptoms not to ooze out. But don't you want to know why it's happening so it won't happen anymore? And so you don't want to take the medication? I do. I know Jessica does. And just conventional medicine doctors aren't trained like that. And they don't have the time to spend with you on that. One, because insurance doesn't pay out for that. But two, because again, they're not trained for that. And they wouldn't be able to see as many patients. Um, and that means less money, honestly, and not helping as many patients as they could. So
Mhm.
I would really just take an approach today or tomorrow and just sit with yourself and think about your doctor. Do they listen to you? Do they ask you questions about your diet or your lifestyle? Um, do they try to address why this is happening instead of just handing you a pill? Do they spend more than 15 minutes with you? If they don't, and this is opinionated by me fully, I would fire them. Jessica, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think some of the frustration I know, at least with a lot of the clients I've worked with, is sometimes medication is just not a good option. You know, they're having like major side effects, or sometimes even very serious reactions as well. You know, side effects too, like in terms of it's harming their internal organs. You know, and it's giving them other negative symptoms. So they might be trading joint pain for extreme nausea, you know, and
Yeah.
even more fatigue. So it's stuff like that that usually brings people to me, because medication, and lots of medication is not an option for everybody. And it's really possible to be able to deal with the root of the problem and wean off of some of those medications, if not all, with, of course, like help with your doctor. We're not ever going to tell you to just go off
Mhm.
on your own, because that's not safe. But it's dealing with the root of the problem that's so important. And the thing with functional medicine is that there's so many extra tests and specialized tests that can be done. If you're really stuck and you're really like running into a wall and you just can't seem to be getting answers from your doctor and the labs that they're running, like especially in terms of, I think, times finding out what type of condition you have to begin with.
Mhm.
I know especially thyroid is a huge one.
Yeah.
Conventional medicine doctors, they either they don't have the training, or they will not to do certain thyroid tests. So, and the thing is that you can't really get a proper diagnosis if something's happening with your thyroid unless you have this full panel, which most doctors will not authorize. Even in Canada, like we have a lot of our healthcare that's covered, but there's lots of those tests that they just will not run.
Yeah, I agree.
They're
I was gonna
not
mention.
and they don't know, they don't even know about them.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I remember this one time I went in to get foot surgery, beforehand she asked me what medications I was on, and so I was on Nature Throid, which is just a natural thyroid medication that my doctor gave me, my functional medicine doctor. And I told her I was gluten free and dairy free too, because they were going to give us a meal afterwards. So first of all, she's like, "Oh, I've never heard of Nature Throid. What is that?" I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me here. I'm in a hospital and you don't know what a common pharmaceutical is for your thyroid." But also after the surgery, she gave me a cheese sandwich with a Sprite. Like, okay, I am so in the wrong place here. But that just kind of is an example that goes to show that they're not trained like functional medicine doctors are.
Mhm.
And Jessica, you brought up a really good point about the labs and having a full panel lab instead of just the symptom that matches the lab. Because
Mhm.
oftentimes your symptom, let's say joint pain, fatigue, um, and brain fog. They'll do a regular maybe CBC and maybe something else. I don't know. And then if they can't figure that out, they'll lump it into the fibromyalgia um, bucket or just arthritis bucket. And
Mhm.
that doesn't help us at all. It's here's this pill for maybe what you have, and that's it. But they don't do a toxins, a heavy metals test that could be your joint pain, your fatigue, and your joint pain. They don't do a leaky gut test. They don't do any of that. So things that you might have been diagnosed with might be false actually because they didn't do a full panel on you.
Mhm.
Um, and that's scary. And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm just saying that to maybe plant a seed in your head. If you're not getting the answers that you want from your doctor that spends 15 minutes with you, and sure, they may run tests and they may do a CAT scan and a MRI and still come up with nothing and nothing and nothing again, go to a functional medicine doctor. They'll figure it out. And I guarantee you, they're going to tell you it's a leaky gut and you have a high toxicity level, or you have candida, or whatever it is. You're going to find an answer way shorter than you would your conventional medicine doctor.
Yeah, and one thing too, I think that's kind of the light at the end of the tunnel is there so much can be solved by a holistic approach, and so much you can see so much progress and so much improvement with starting with nutrition. And that's like
Yeah.
why Casey and I do what we do and specialize in nutrition, is because we know that it makes such a difference. So even if you're, your general doctor is like, not exactly sure what's going on, or, here's your diagnosis, here's your medication, and you're kind of like, still not feeling very good. So much can be done without having to get to that point where you're taking a whole bunch of tests. And, with the functional medicine doctor, there's so much that you can do beforehand, with proper nutrition, and by also like talking with a professional like ourselves about
Mhm.
your lifestyle, and your stress level, and those things, like what's actually happening in your life right now.
Yep.
Like those things, I think we underestimate how important how we live and how we feel on a regular basis, like in our minds, in our hearts,
Yeah.
and what we're doing on a daily basis, how that actually affects our physical health. People just think,
Mhm.
oh, something physical wrong, I have to fix the physical. There's so much more to it. So to me, that's kind of the light at the end of the tunnel, is it doesn't have to get to a super scary, serious place. There's so much that you can do before you even get to that point.
Yeah, I would say nutrition, and especially the protocol that we're teaching you guys for specifically autoimmune diseases, will help 70 to 80% of everything that's going on with you, because you're essentially detoxing, you're getting rid of the processed inflammatory foods out of you. Even if you don't eat processed foods, if you're vegetarian or vegan, that's still causing inflammation in your body. And then we're putting in nutrients and sometimes supplements to help nourish that body and heal the gut. And by this time, you're going to feel so much better. And then start working with a functional medicine doctor to help do a better detox, to get to get more toxins out of you, or the heavy metals, because you need to do some more intense work for that, and work with them to get your labs. So we work together here, but nutrition is the foundation of feeling better. And if you don't start or end with that, I don't feel like you can get a complete picture of optimal health that you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree. I don't think I have anything else to add to that. I think that's a great way to end today.
Yeah, for sure. So one thing I want to add though is if you do decide to do nutrition for first, and you do decide to have us help you with it, we are more than happy to help you find a practitioner to know what to help you with, what questions you need to ask them. We go over your lifestyle, your stress, your eating habits in here too. So having us on your side will solve a lot of problems that you don't even need to go to the doctor for. So it's a great first step or last step too, depending on what's going on with you. So if you have questions, comment below for sure, and we'll help guide you. But one thing that I can offer right now to help guide you is just a link to go to help find a functional medicine doctor. It's ifm.org/practitioner. And you can, if you're in Canada, you can click Canada. If you're in the US, just click US, and then your zip code and things like that. And there'll be a list of all the functional medicine doctors near you as well. So that will be, I'll put that in the comments below this video too. But that's a really good start.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Casey.
Yeah, cool.
So I will be back on Thursday. Casey is away for a little bit. And we will be away next week because we're half vacation, half working abroad. Abroad, as in I'm going to be in Palm Springs and doing half holiday, half work from there. I know, Casey, you have a bit of a travel plans yourself. So we'll be here next week, but we are planning on the following week. So we'll keep you posted.
Yep. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.
But take care, everyone.
Bye.